New updates for the EV tax credit are happening right now, and we're going to break down exactly which Teslas qualify and for how much. Let's get right into it. So just recently, the Senate did pass the largest climate bill ever, $400 billion, and the EV tax credit is but a small portion of this $400 billion to be spent over 10 years. This bill did pass in the Senate. So what is next, and how sure is Tesla that they're going to get EV tax credits, and what does it really mean to you? Here is the latest. The EV tax credit, a small portion of the largest climate bill ever. This bill is just recently passed by a 51-50 vote, broken by Vice President Kamala Harris. But the thing you want to pay attention to is this passed in the Senate. So what does that mean for EV tax credits, and when is the House then going to be voting on this? So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the latest on the voting and the EV tax credit, and we're going to pull up a graph together and go over which Teslas qualify for how much, when do you actually get it, and then we're going to expand on what we spoke about in the last video, the battery requirements. So there are timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead or rewatch, and also there's links to the best Amazon accessories for your Tesla down in the description as well. So this Senate vote just passed recently. It is going to the House on Friday. So by the time of this video coming out, that should be tomorrow. So this is a vote we expect to pass. The Senate did not change anything about this EV tax credit language. So what does that mean to you? So what that means is the EV tax credit will give you $7,500 for qualifying Tesla purchases, and this goes into effect January 2023. There's been a lot of confusion on this. Long story short, you have to place your order and then take delivery in 2023. Or you can also place your order in 2023 versus 2022. It really doesn't matter as long as you take delivery in 2023. This also removes the 200,000 car per manufacturer cap, a limitation that after 200,000 cars sold, the manufacturers like Tesla no longer would be eligible for any credits. So that cap is gone. So now every delivery in 2023, pending this passing in the House, which I predict a favorable outcome. I do think this will pass. And then what happens next is it goes to the president's desk for signature. But also what changed is this is now a point of sale credit. Now I want to pull up the graph next. That's really important. But what this means is that you will get that discount, if you will, that credit off of the price when you take delivery of your Tesla. So this one's probably the most important change that has happened in the act, the EV tax credit versus the previous credit. So here it is. The new requirements show that the cars must be assembled in North America, and that the materials and critical minerals, that's really important. The critical minerals in the batteries must come from the US or a country with a free trade agreement with the US. And now the caps are $55,000 or lower. Those cars get the EV tax credit for sedans, and $80,000 for SUVs. Purchases of SUVs at $80,000 or lower get the EV tax credit. But let me show you this graph, and we're going to go into some detail. So now we're going to go into the probability that your Tesla is going to have this EV tax credit. And again, remember, the latest is this passed the Senate, and on Friday, after Friday, we should have an answer, but we're not quite sure if changes are going to be made in the House or if this may not pass. So to get those updates and answers, please make sure to subscribe, because this is probably the most important week for those answers. So let's get into this graph. The Model 3 and Model Y, well, two of the most popular Teslas, well, do they qualify? The short answer is maybe. So remember that new critical component requirement of the batteries, those minerals having to be mined in the United States or a free trade country. Well, this breaks it down. Model 3, Model Y, will it get the tax credit based on those requirements, which you can see here are 40% and 50% of those critical minerals have to come from those two areas? And the answer again is probably, and I want to expand on that. So you read this graph and you probably think, well, what the heck does probably mean? Well, first of all, the rear wheel drive has a battery that does not come from a free trade country. That country is China. So immediately the rear wheel drive will not qualify for this tax credit. So when this graph says probably, and we're wondering will the Model 3 or Model Y get these credits, well, here's two things that you want to know. So when that graph says probably, well, what does that mean? The $7,500 is actually broken up into two separate segments of $3,750. One of those segments is based on the vehicle having 40% of the battery critical minerals from the US or free trade country, which we just talked about, but the other side of it is based on at least 50% of the battery components of the vehicle coming from the US or free trade countries. So battery components and battery minerals, how are we supposed to know which cars qualify based on where these items come from? Well, a lot of different EV companies like RIvian, like Lucid, are actually sending their customers emails saying, hey, we're trying to figure this out. And I know Tesla is as well. But what they are doing, especially RIvian, is giving customers the chance to essentially reserve their place in line. So once they find out which cars qualify, then so will the customers. So there's a lot of information up in the air, and some companies like RIvian and Lucid are getting ahead of it and informing their customers of their options. But Tesla has yet to make it explicitly clear, so I want you to subscribe because we're going to get those answers, I'm sure, very shortly after Friday. Friday is a very, very important day on if this does in fact pass, and it's going to move very quickly after that. Now, what we do know right now is that the rear-wheel drive does not qualify because that battery is in fact made in China, and the long range and performance are higher than the $55,000 sedan cap. But what might change are the prices. Now, one move that Tesla could do would be to lower the long range price slightly so that it does qualify based on the price. Now, the battery, I have heard talks of the battery being within those requirements. So if the long range does come down slightly in price, that car will qualify. Both the Model Ys, based on the price for SUVs can't be higher than $80,000. And what we know currently, without knowing again the details of the battery components and minerals, is based on that price, the Model Y qualifies based on that $80,000 SUV cap. So there's a lot we need to know about the minerals and the components. That is going to be the big kicker this week. So I want to make sure that you subscribe because after Friday, it's going to move pretty quick. We're going to get some answers. We're going to be doing more research, and we're going to tell you if in fact prices go down, which cars now qualify for Tesla, or which cars based on the batteries qualify as well. So this is a big, big topic. I'm following it every single day. If you are considering getting a Tesla, if this does pass on Friday, it looks pretty good. Make sure to take delivery in 2023. And then from there, we'll see which cars qualify based on, again, that really difficult battery requirement. And of course, check out the links in the description for the best accessories. And of course, the only way I know you like this content is to drop a like, subscribe to get those updates. Again, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.